And welcome to Upon Further Review. I'm Josh Aubrey. Plenty to get to in this week's show. We begin with the Georgia Southern Eagles coming off another tough setback, this one on the road at undefeated James Madison. The Eagles struggled and only scored 13 points in the game and gave up 41 to James Madison. This week, Georgia Southern looking to rebound as they'll be hosting UL Monroe. The Warhawks come in with a record of 2-4. The Eagles will be homecoming coming up on Saturday. The kickoff is at 2 o'clock, and we'll hear from head coach Clay Helton and a couple of players as they look to rebound from the loss last week at James Madison. As for our area high school football teams, only two of them in action. Thursday night, Bulloch Academy on the road as they open up region play at St. Simon's, taking on Frederica. The Gators looking to remain undefeated on the season and move to 8-0. As for the Statesboro Blue Devils, they have a chance to sew up a playoff spot if they're able to knock off Bradwell on the road in Hinesville Friday night at Olvie Field. We'll hear from Matt Dobson. We'll also hear from Aaron Phillips, some of their players, and we'll also talk with Southeast Bulloch Yellow Jacket head coach Jared Zito as the Yellow Jackets have this week off and then two big games ahead of them as they attempt to make the state playoffs. The Portal Panthers have already sewn up a spot in the state with a 40-0 victory last week at home against ECI. This week they're on a bye week, and then next week on the road in Darien to take on McIntosh County Academy. We'll hear from our high school coaches and players, Georgia Southern head coach Clay Helton and some of his players. We'll also check in with Bob Massey's Statesboro volleyball team, who were able to knock off Arabia Mountain this past Wednesday evening at Hanner Fieldhouse as they opened up the state playoffs. All that and more coming up on Upon Further Review. Reminder before we go to break, hopefully you'll never be in an accident, but if so, please give our friends at the Sullivan Law Firm a call, 912-489-8888, or online at thesullivanlawfirm.com. Cook's Pharmacy, located on Highway 80 East, is family owned and operated by Lynn and Janie McCook, as well as their son, Josh McCook. Serving the Bulloch County area since 2005, McCook's Pharmacy offers fast and friendly service where the customers come first. Vaccinations are available, including shingles, flu, pneumonia, and Tdap. Drive-through service is available with 2 drive-through windows for your convenience. McCook's Pharmacy offers free local deliveries, and new customers are always welcome. Continuing the tradition of our family caring for your family, McCook's Pharmacy, Highway 80 East. Eagles' spirit and style are a priority around here, and that's why the University Store, the official outfitter of Georgia Southern, offers everything you need to be game day ready. The University Store carries the largest inventory of licensed Georgia Southern apparel, accessories, and spirited merchandise. Show your spirit with tents, flags, and chairs. Show your style with polos, hats, dresses, and jerseys. Visit us in-store at our stadium shops or online at gsustore.com. Show your spirit from tailgate to touchdown with the University Store today. Well, the Georgia Southern football team currently sits at 4-2 on the season. They'll be taking on 2-4 ULM. The Warhawks coming into town, losing the last 4 games. 2 of those came down to the last minutes of the game. One came down to the final play as they lost to App State 41-40. And then this past week, they lost to Texas State as they gave up 2 touchdowns in the final 5 minutes of the game to lose 21-20 in that game. We had a chance to talk with head coach Clay Helton as the Eagles look to rebound from last week's loss to James Madison, get back in the win column this week against University of Louisiana Monroe.
And we're at the halfway point right now with everything in the future for us. We're in a better position than we were last year record-wise. We're in a better position both personnel and depth-wise. And we have everything in front of us if we go 1-0 each and every week to be able to compete for a conference championship. So a good team looks at itself and corrects issues. A bad team pouts, sulks, and wastes time. When we came off the field the other day, you always want to see the look in their eyes and see how they handled it. And I got to credit Caleb Hood Yeah, I walked in. I was the last person to walk in to the locker room, and Caleb already had our team up. And there's a reason he's got a C on his chest. And I told everybody, hey, guys, understand that's not our standard. That's not what we're about. And immediately, took the words right out of my mouth before I addressed them. And it's great to see that your leadership comes from your players also. And then that leadership fed into yesterday's practice. You saw a chip on their shoulder. You saw a sense of urgency at practice. And we're all pissed off. We all wanted to be better than what we were on Saturday. And you could feel it from them. Good teams turn the page. They address the issues. They correct the issues. They turn the page. Poor teams feel sorry for themselves. They pout and they waste time. I did not see that from our team yesterday, and I expect that they will come out, have a great week of prep, and then put their best foot forward on Saturday. This team has been really disciplined in the fact of being able to turn the page, and whether it's a good victory or a loss like Saturday, it's been able to go to the next step in the next day. They've been really real with each other too, and we've all looked ourselves in the mirror and says, okay, hey, what are the issues from that game? And that game was, our third down efficiency in the first half being 5 of 8, creating no turnovers. So all of a sudden you're playing on a long field, 22-yard line was the average, and all of it, and offensively got a chance to keep that thing a one-score game, but we kicked 2 field goals rather than 2 touchdowns in the red zone, so you're still looking at 20-6 at halftime, getting the ball back in the second half. And what happens in the second half? 3 turnovers. Very easy MO for us. 1 or less turnovers, we've won. You get more than that, we've lost, and thus we look at 4-2. Now, what is the positives? We control our own destiny. Got a good football team. It's one game. Turn the page and try to go 1-0 this week against ULM and get back on the winning side. I think offensively, you've seen that where they can put points on the board. You see versus App State, who's a good defensive squad, and they go out there and they can put 40-plus points on the board. Defensively, I was really impressed last week. Texas State is not only one of the best teams in our conference offensively, they're one of the best teams in the nation. And to be able to hold them to 9 points with under 5 minutes left to go, you're 2 scores up. I know they've got to be sick right now. I've been extremely impressed with how they defend spread offenses, very similar to ours. And they have a wealth of athletes. They've got a good front, but their athleticism in the back end and at their linebackers just jumps off the film. And I think that's what allowed them to be great in space last week against Texas State and to match up with their receiving core last week. And so we've got a great challenge in front of us. Like our team knows, and they're seeing it on tape right now, that do not take this team lightly because they are a lot better than their record right now.
Coach, you and I talked before about what it means to play in football matters.
Mm-hmm.
You've got great atmospheres all over this conference.
We've been here 3 times, and our fan base has been tremendous all 3 times. They've been a huge reason why we're 3-0 at home, undefeated at home, has been that atmosphere. It's hard to play in Paulson Stadium. It's hard to play in Statesboro, Georgia, and it has been an electric atmosphere. This is a critical game for us. The next basically 10 days are ultra critical, and thank goodness they're both at home. And so we've got the opportunity to try to get 1-0 this week, and we got the opportunity to do it in front of our home base, which is obviously very, very special for us.
There's a time for playing it safe and a time for Whiskey Business. Located on the corner of Highway 80 and East Main Street, Whiskey Business has one of the largest selections of bourbons as well as an allocated selection of bourbons and top shelf liquors. Featuring the coldest walk-in beer cave around, a great selection of IPA and craft beers as well as domestics. They also sell ice, mixers, champagne, wine with all your favorite brands. Whiskey Business also has a fully stocked cigar room with humidors, cigar cutters, torches, and other accessories featuring brands like Man O' War, Buffalo Trace, Macanudo, and Rocky Patel. Open Monday through Wednesday, 9 to 9 p.m., Thursday through Saturday, 9 till 10 p.m. Stop by and see them today. Well, the Georgia Southern players know to not overlook ULM despite their 2-4 record and them being winless in the conference, because 2 of those games came down to the final few plays of the game. We had a chance to talk with them about how they feel after last week's loss to James Madison and getting ready for a homecoming matchup with ULM.
I want to give a good shout out to JMU. They played a wonderful game. We just didn't execute this week. We need to make a little bit more turnovers, a little bit more execution, things like that. We left a lot of plays out there that we wish we could get back, but the thing about it, we get to come next week and get those turnovers and be able to play a good, sound football game. Glad to be back here in Paulson, to have the good atmosphere here. Yeah, with them coming in, they're a really good team. We don't sleep on anybody that comes in.
I'm feeling good health-wise, coming back from the 2 missed games. I put a lot of work into my body, to prepare me mentally and physically to go into each game ready to compete with my brothers, With the game, we lost a tough game, give our hats off to JMU. They played a real tough game. It didn't go how we expected it to go, but good thing about the game of football, as Coach Ellis preaches, we get another opportunity to come back this week to go. The experience here since transferring here has been great, being around great coaches, being around the great players, This is the most unselfish group of teammates I've ever been around, They love to fight for each other. We love to compete with each other. Even the coaching staff, they love to just fight for each other and be there for each other. The love here is unbelievable, from the people in this facility, from the fans. It's just amazing to be around these people. I'm looking forward to homecoming here this week. See how amazing that is with the fans, see everybody cheering on, see the support. So I'm looking forward to it. Should be an exciting moment.
And stay with us. High school action coming up next.
Davis, you're in. You tired of being on the sidelines? Let's get you in the game. GATA, get after those assets.
Owning a small business is kind of a big deal. State Farm agents can help you find the right insurance coverage at the right price.
Call State Farm agent Matthew Tyson in Statesboro today.
Well, on the high school football front, the Statesboro Blue Devils coming off a disappointing 51-0 loss to number 1 ranked Coffee County last Friday at Womack Field. The Blue Devils 1-1 in region play, though, and a victory this Friday on the road in Hinesville against Bradwell would give them a state playoff spot. We had a chance to talk with Matt Dobson and a couple of his players about the matchup.
My message to our guys since before we had the off week before region play started was to find a way to be one of 4, be one of those 4 playoff teams and get into the state playoffs and see what happens, because when you get there, you never know what can happen. And so that message has not changed. We're sitting at 1-1 in the region, right there kind of in the middle. You got Ware and Coffee are both 2-0, and you got us and Jenkins at 1-1, and Bradwell and Greenbrier at 0-2. And so we're right in the mix where we want to be, and just got to bounce back this week. Got a big one this week at Bradwell, but I think our guys are in good spirits and they're up for the challenge. Having the week off from school can be a huge advantage if we choose for it to be. It gives us more time, to watch film and more time to get rested up, and we get to spend a little bit more time with our players and meetings and things. And so we just talked about it, using it to our advantage, and trying to find a routine in a not normal week. And so, you obviously you worry a little bit about what some players are doing when they're not at school and not with you as much, but you hope that the maturity will take over and that they will realize the importance of and the significance of this week and really put in the effort needed to get a win this week. They've played the top 2 teams in our region so far. They are explosive on offense. They got a really good quarterback, couple receivers who can really go. They like to put the ball in the air and make plays through the air. And like I said, they're explosive and can score at any minute. And so we got to be really sound on defense. It's kind of going to be a shift a little bit defensively compared to really the majority of the teams we have played this year have been run-first teams. And this is the first team that we've played that I would say is a pass-first team. And so got to shift our mindset a little bit. Game plan will be much different than it was the last few weeks defensively, and just got to find a few ways to slow their offense down.
We don't give up. We ain't gave up. We just gotta overcome our I'll say our self penalties and our what we can kicking ourselves and just mental stuff, because without everything we'll probably be even in a worse situation than we is now. So I mean, if we just can kind of overcome those things, it would be pretty fun. I feel pretty good playing Bradwell. We just got to come and execute our stuff offensively and defensively. It could be a really pretty good game for us.
All right, that's good.
Just working on getting better past that game. Got to leave it past last week. Get better for the next game and prepare as a team and just do the little things that matter, that we can do better to succeed and to get the next win. Just coming as a team, we knowing that they looking to get a win too. They not no pushover, so we just got to 1% better, practice better, weight room, get better.
And stay with us. Up next, we'll hear from Southeast Bulloch head coach Jared Zito. The Southeast Bulloch segment is brought to you in part thanks to Bulloch County Farm Bureau, reminding you that September is Life Insurance Awareness Month. The Bulloch County Farm Bureau on Northside Drive is a multi-line insurance agent writing farm, auto, homeowners, life, health insurance, and more. Nick Sherrod and the other 5 local agents are on standby for your convenience for in-depth insurance review. And while you're there, check out the products from local farmers. Located at 940 Northside Drive, stop by and see them today. The Southeast Bulloch segment of our show is brought to you in part thanks to Bulloch Solutions. Visit them at bulloch.solutions to find out how they can connect you to the highest speeds for all your technology needs. Well, the Southeast Bulloch Yellow Jackets are coming off a 28-7 loss at home against Benedictine. They were right in the game for much of the first half before falling behind and eventually losing that one. Southeast still has a chance to make the state playoffs. They have Burke County and Wayne County coming up in the next 2 weeks. We had a chance to talk with head coach Jared Zito about their bye week this week and how the team is feeling about where they sit.
Well, yeah, the bye week is a great week for us right now. Great timing, one fall break and fair week, but just coming off of two tough games, Benedictine on Friday, and we've got 2 really good teams left. We're focusing on Wayne County. We've got to go to Wayne and then go to Burke, and those are games if we have aspirations to make it in the playoffs, those are games we gotta win. And we're a little banged up like anybody. I mean, nothing too serious, but I think a good chance for our kids to rest, recover. We got our game plan in, at least initially, and cut the kids loose after today's practice so they can enjoy a little time with their family, maybe get caught up on schoolwork and get rested. Our guys, they've done great. I mean, we had great attendance. I think every varsity player was here yesterday and today. I was telling our coaches, we practice good. Our kids, they listen, they try hard, they pay attention, they're here. It's hard to complain about that. And at the end of the day, we got to put it together on Friday night. And sometimes it just depends on the players you're putting it together against. And at the end of the day, players win games. And we our attitude's good. It seems like our everybody's focused. Everybody is in good spirits. They know, and we knew what was coming. We understand this region, and we know we have some tough ones left. So I appreciate our kids and our coaches for bringing that mental attitude with them here this week.
And stay with us. Up next, we'll hear from Bulloch Academy head coach Aaron Phillips and a couple of his players. Fall is here, and we've got you covered at RJ Pope's. Cheer on your favorite team with performance polos and jackets from Peter Millar and Gentile, as well as Southern Tide and AFCO. For ladies, they have the latest trends and fashions, including men's and women's jackets from Patagonia and Barber. RJ Pope's has a wide variety of on-cloud shoes for men and women, and a great selection of hats and caps. Shop one of their 3 locations, RJ Pope's downtown, Buckhead Plaza, and Vidalia. The Bulloch Academy segment is brought to you in part thanks to Floors Outlet of Statesboro, located on Northside Drive. Come by and visit Mo for all your floor covering needs. Well, the revenge tour continued for the Bulloch Academy Gators, who knocked off Thomas Jefferson this past week in a pretty easy matchup at Gator Alley. This week, though, things get a little bit difficult as they'll be taking on Frederica on the road at St. Simon's. Last year, Jordan Triplett rushed for over 300 yards and 4 touchdowns as they defeated the Gators pretty handily in Gator Alley. This time around at St. Simon's, and once again, Triplett, finally his senior year, he's already committed to Air Force. They has about 7 other Division I offers. Coach Phillips knows they're going to have their hands full, but they're ready for the challenge ahead.
We feel good about where we are. We feel like we need to continue to challenge ourselves every week at practice to continue to get better. And one of the big things we try to battle is complacency and being satisfied with where we are right now, because we know we do things that we can do better as far as eliminating penalties and just executing our assignments, to the best of our ability. So that's one thing we have to concentrate on, constantly remind our kids of, which they're very receptive to. So it's worked out well so far. I know they're a really good program. I know that I coached a kid from there several years ago at Kentucky State when they won the state championship. I know they had a lot of good players there. Obviously, the Triplett kid's a tremendous player, can do a lot of things really well. I think they did graduate some kids from last year, but at the same time, they're going to show up, and they've got a toughness about them, and they're going to come out and play hard. Unfortunately, well, depending on how you look at it, we've had a lot of running clocks in the second half. So if it does take us 4 quarters to compete this week, it'll be interesting to see how our kids respond, because they'll be probably playing a lot more snaps if that's the case. And I think we're up to the challenge, but we'll have to see.
Well, emotions are high right now. We got a big game this week against Frederica. It's the biggest one of the year we've played so far. This is it for us. This win, we got to win this one to go on to the next one. So, we got to do what we got to do. The offense is rolling. We had that one hiccup against Hart County where we got out manhandled, but in the end, we're playing really well. Defense is holding up strong. We just had a shutout against Thomas Jefferson, which was big. We got to stop Jordan Triplett this week.
I feel good. I think we've drastically improved since last year and even since the start of the season. It's really the overall process. I think that we came together much better as a team than we did last year. Through adversity, we really stick together. I'm not very worried about it being a shorter week, because I think that we're going to do all that we can to prepare for it.
As for the Portal Panthers, they are off this week. They're currently undefeated 2-0 in region play. They've already sewn up a spot in the state. Next week, they'll be on the road in Darien as they take on McIntosh Academy, looking to win that one and set up a region championship showdown in their final game against Jenkins County. That game would be at home at the Portal Athletic Complex. Before we go, congratulations to the Statesboro Blue Devil volleyball team who were able to knock off Arabia Mountain this past Wednesday at home. We had a chance to talk with head coach Bob Massey after the game about how things went.
I think in the grand scheme of things, I think just us playing the way we were supposed to play. We came out in the first set hot, second set hot, and I think sometimes you kind of have that lull in the middle of in a match sometimes, and it's just part of it. I think the biggest thing is we have a resilient group of kids. They know how to kind of fight through it. They know how to they understand. They've been here before, and I think as part as our goal, it doesn't matter if we win 3-1, 3-2, whatever. The goal is just to continue to try and push on and win. I think in the next round, when we make those errors, it'll be a lot harder to kind of overcome them. But I think for the most part, it's a good learning experience. I'm glad it happened now and not this Saturday. The one thing that we put together this week is a lot of middle work with our setter to middle connecting. That was the best we've connected with our setters to middles. I think the timing and tempo was good. Our passes were phenomenal. And that was kind of the biggest thing that I could say, that everything about it was the connection from setter to middle, because that was been our big focus on getting to the Elite Eight. We have to fix that cue of our game, and then in order for us to move past, because we can't be one-dimensional with the outside hitter. I think moving on as far as Saturday goes, I think it's just really bringing a different mentality of just there's got to be a little bit more fight, a little bit more focus. And I get this week's been a lot of changing and transitioning and everything else, but I think just the focus of just the whole aspect of what they want. What's our goal? Our goal is to try and make it to the Elite Eight. And that's been our goal from the start of the year, win the region and make it to the Elite Eight, and I think that's a huge accomplishment. Anything other than that is gravy for us.
Next up for the Blue Devils, they'll be playing Eagles Landing Saturday at either 5:45 or 6 o'clock at the Statesboro High Gymnasium. That'll wrap things up for now. We thank you for joining us. Hope to see you again next week.